I told my daughter when she was a kid that there was a country called Gingerstan where everyone was ginger, and she's called Parker, so it was next to Parkerstan. Yeah. So I did maps for her. It was great. Yeah. Well, I did my life the wrong way around because normally you do really stupid stuff first, and then you kind of get serious. But I started off doing what you do. Worked for ITN. I was a producer in the House of Commons. I was a diplomat briefly, if you could believe it, for the European Commission in Prague. And then I came back and I was working, doing interviews with people on. I'd be sent out to get the kind of junior interviews and the clips of MPs, and I just started mucking about in the background. So I did Paddy Ashdown once, and I was just getting a quote from him, and I phoned some friends, and they had a clown fight in the background. So ITN saw that and thought, oh, look at this, you know. Meanwhile, on Westminster Green, there was some tomfoolery going on, and then I did something with David Mellor and got someone to kick a football, and it hit him in the face, which was unfortunate, but it was what the public wanted. And so I got fired from ITN, and then I ended up going into comedy, and a lot of the interviews I did in Trigger Happy were just me pretending to be a normal reporter and then mucking about with it. I think I just always I like being in the thick of things, and I'm really into politics and I'm into that sort of stuff, but I like chucking in a sort of surreal mix to it. So totally by accident, my CV is a complete mess. I'd completely burnt out with Trigger Happy at the beginning. I was just wiped out because it's a very knackering show to make. But I suddenly, over the years, I had so many things that were irritating me, like cycle lanes and vapors and all these things. And I thought, God, if I was doing Trigger Happy again, I'd be able to do that. So I did all new characters except for the mobile phone. And I don't really like the big mobile. It's kind of like my Rod Holland Emu. It kind of had its moment and I didn't want to put it in. But mobile phones have moved on so much now that I had a big smartphone, and now the big mobile guy's on Grindr and he's, live vlogging his food and stuff. So there was just loads of scope for it. And it was just, unfortunately, it is the one thing I'm really good at, is just dressing up as weird things and annoying people. I grew up watching a lot of hidden camera, from early Candid Camera. There was a show in South Africa called Funny People, and then things I didn't like as much, like Beatles About and Game for a Laugh. But these were massive formats, but they were always done. I mean, hidden camera is seen as the lowest rung of comedy, really. Like, if you're smart, you should go and do scripted comedy. And I always felt I was sort of quite a smart person doing a really stupid genre. And I'm like, why should this genre be stupid? Because actually, if you look at online now, hidden camera is probably the most international form of comedy. Everything online that you watch. And yet it's still got no award ceremonies. It's got no respect. So I suppose I just wanted to make it something that was watchable, and I wanted it to be cool, because there's no reason why it shouldn't be cool. And also, it's just I don't think people realize how difficult it is to do. Because everyone goes, oh, did you write Trigger Happy? Well, no. It's all made up, because how can I know what someone's going to say? I got to the stage where you get into the vibe of it, and we'd be driving around, and I'd see a milkman, and we'd think, oh, I haven't done a milkman. So we then go and try and find a milkman costume, and then just think, right, how do we make a milkman funny? And in the end, actually, we flipped it the other way, and I got 3 huge cats. We followed a milkman on his dawn delivery. And then basically when he went up to a door, in the days where he still had milkmen, the cats just ran up and grabbed the crates of milk and ran off, it just makes me laugh, really. I don't know, and because I grew up abroad as well, so I have a sort of French sensibility, which is quite a bit surreal. So I like ordinary scenarios and just injecting a bit of weirdness into it. When I left Trigger Happy TV, I went to the BBC, and all the BBC wanted was another hidden camera show. And I thought, well, what do people do when they go to the BBC, or they do have a big deal and move to the BBC? They tend to have very egotistical chat shows. So I thought, well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have an egotistical chat show, and it's going to be appalling, and it's going to be called This Is Dom Joly. And I remember my wife saying, you sure you want to call it This Is Dom Joly? Just call it This Is John Dolly or something, because otherwise people think it is you. Because although I'd been in every shot of Trigger Happy, people didn't really know who I was. So I thought that was funny, that I'd just turn out to be an idiot. And the idea was that 80% of people watching would think, oh, I get what he's doing, and this is funny, it's supposed to be appalling, and 20% would think this is a car crash. Actually, I think it flipped, and I think 80% of people watching thinking, God, Dom Joly's an appalling human being, and really bad at this. But I loved making it, but I don't think people got it. I think people just thought it was me, which in hindsight was a terrible career move. But I had a lot of fun. I had my favourite bands. I had The Cure on, and I'd wander on eating a sandwich halfway through, and I'd ask Eamon Holmes what time he woke up, and I mean, just inane questions, because that was the whole point. It was supposed to be this weird show. So I'm hoping one day, and I wore glasses. That was, to me, really obvious. I don't wear glasses, so it's not me. But of course, how does anyone else know I don't wear glasses? So I did 2 series of that at the B, but I hope one day someone watches it again and think, oh, I get what he's doing. But I had a lot of fun.